everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'll be teaching you a simple yet effective method for recalling trigonometric ratios while solving problems. This trick can easily be used on a rough page during tests or exams. To begin with, let's draw an 8 by 6 table and write down the values of the angles in the column headings, keeping the rows for the required ratios. So I'm going to take theta as our reference angle, and the standard values that we usually have to remember are for the angles 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and finally 90 degrees. The ratios, as I mentioned earlier, would be the headings for our rows. So I've got sine of the angle theta as the first one, then cos theta, tan theta, and the next three ratios are the reciprocals of the first three in the same order. So cosecant of theta comes here, secant of theta comes next, and finally I've got cotangent of the angle theta. If you notice, I have left the second row blank. This is because we are going to utilize it for our trick. To begin with, we are going to write down the numbers 0 to 4 in these gaps over here and divide each of these numbers by the largest number in this list, which is of course the number 4. In the final step, I'm going to take the square root of each of these ratios. So there we have it, the square roots of these numbers, and we are finally ready to start filling up the table. So the first value would be sine of 0 degrees. Now as you can see, the number I should be filling up here should be under root 0 upon 4. If I divide anything by 0, the answer is of course 0, and hence its square root is also 0. So that is our first value. Similarly, let's fill up the rest of the values. Under root 1 upon 4 would be 1 upon 2, since under root 1 is 1 and under root 4 is 2. The next one is under root 2 upon 4. This can be written as a simpler ratio as 1 upon 2, which means my final answer would be 1 upon root 2. So I'm going to write that down over here. The next value is sine of 60 degrees, and that would be under root 3 upon 2. If you notice, I am not taking the square roots of those numbers which are not perfect squares. For example, the number 3 in this case. The last one is under root 4 upon 4, which is obviously equal to 1. This is our first set of values. In order to write down the values of cosine of the angle theta, all we need to do is write down the first set of values in the reverse order, which means cosine of 0 degrees would be the number 1. Cosine of 30 degrees would be under root 3 upon 2. Cosine of 45 degrees would remain the same, that is 1 upon root 2. Cosine of 60 degrees would be 1 upon 2. And finally, cosine of 90 degrees would be 0. So this fills up our values for cos theta as well. If you notice, I have written down the relationship between tan, sine and cos over here. This is what will help us fill up the next set of values. So we've got sine theta and cos theta. Tan theta would be the fraction that I get when I divide sine theta and cos theta. So the first one would be tan 0 degrees. That can be found by dividing 0 by 1. Now obviously 0 divided by anything is 0, so our first answer is 0. The next one is 1 upon root 2 divided by root 3 upon 2. In order to find this, you can do it as a rough calculation anywhere on the sheet. So this is how I can write it. And of course, in order to find the final value, I'm going to solve it and get 1 upon root 3. So that is my value for sine of the angle 30 degrees. Similarly, sine 45 degrees would be 1 upon root 2 upon 1 upon root 2. That would be 1. The next one would be root 3 upon 2 divided by 1 upon 2. This will give us root 3. And the last one, that is tan of 90 degrees, is 1 upon 0. Now, as you all very well know, anything divided by 0 is undefined, which means the value of tan of 90 degrees is actually undefined. So this completes our main ratios, that is sine, cosine, and tangent of the angle theta. In order to write down the next three set of ratios, all we have to do is find the reciprocals of these values. That means cosec of theta is actually 1 upon sine theta. And in this case, because we are talking about the angle 0 degrees, I am going to be taking the reciprocal of sine 0, which is 0. So that would be 1 upon 0. Again, anything divided by 0 is undefined, which means cosecant of 0 degrees is undefined. Similarly, I've got cosecant of 30 degrees, which would be the reciprocal of 1 upon 2. So obviously that would be equal to 2. The next one would be root 2. I've got cosecant of 60 degrees, which is 2 upon root 3, and cosecant of 90 degrees, which is equal to 1. Similarly, if I fill up the values of secant of theta and cotangent of theta, this is what I'm going to get. Secant of 0 degrees is 1, 30 degrees is 2 upon root 3, 45 degrees is root 2, secant of 60 degrees would be 2, and secant of 90 degrees would be the reciprocal of 0. So 1 upon 0 is again undefined. The last value, that is cotangent of theta, would be the reciprocal of the values of tan theta. So I've got the first one as the reciprocal of 0. 1 upon 0 is again undefined. So I'm going to write down undefined over here for the value of cot 0 degrees. Similarly, the rest of the values would be 2 under root 2, 2 upon root 3, and the last one would be 1. This completes our trick for remembering the trigonometric table. Of course, if you practice it a couple of times, you will easily be able to draw it within a minute during exams, and this will really help you to ensure that you make no mistakes while solving the questions. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hope to see you next time.